The last video was about the differences between low budget and high quality agencies, and today you asked me to make a video on how you can find out whether you are talking to a professional UX agency. Hello and welcome back everyone to today's video, and today I'm gonna do something based on your feedback because you wanted me to make a video on how you can find out whether you are talking to a professional UX agency. And therefore I have decided I want to give you 4 questions that you can ask during the first meeting to immediately determine whether you are talking to a professional UX agency or to a non-professional UX agency. And the first tip I want to give to you is that you should make sure what the past of the agency is like. Because there are many marketing agencies out there that were working in the print industry before. And often they have issues when it comes to digital solutions, because suddenly they don't have an A4 paper, but suddenly they have a interface, a website that adjusts to multiple different screen resolutions, whether we are using it on a tablet, on a smartphone, or on a big desktop screen. And that makes a big difference because the interface needs to adapt to multiple different sizes. So therefore, the first question I would like to give to you today that you should ask any agency you want to work with when you want a digital solution is: how did you get into the digital industry? Have you been working on print media mainly before? I have spoken about the second tip I want to give to you in my previous videos because I've told you already that experience is everything that matters. Because when you have been working for over 10 years, like I did in the UX agency, I've designing concepts, I have been evaluating concepts, I have creating designs, visual designs, I've been evaluating visual designs, I've been coding for more than 10 years now. And based on that experience, I can assure that I am able to deliver whatever you might need. And based on the references of a portfolio I can give you as the UX agency, you can easily understand whether the projects I've been working on in the past are somehow related to the project you are asking for. And if I have been able to handle those successful, if there is some feedback available from the previous clients. And based on that, you should ask every agency you want to work with, can you send me your portfolio or some references, please? And based on these references that you will get, you can make sure that the project you are asking for is something that the agency can actually deliver in the end. Now this question might seem a bit odd or might not be in the right place, but when you go to the doctor, what is it that you usually do? You go there to get a diagnosis, right? You don't go there and tell the doctor what he or she has to do because they are the experts. You go there, you tell them what your pain points are, and when they find out what the issue is, what the cause for your pain points is, and then the doctor will find the proper solution made for you. And why does the doctor find the solution for you? Well, he's the expert. But with agencies, that's often different. Often people or businesses approach an agency and say, we need a new logo, a new website, a new screen design, an entire branding, or whatever they think they might need. And another aspect how you can tell whether you are talking to a professional UX agency is, does the agency simply do what you ask them to? Or do they run a diagnosis on the problems or the pain points that you have to find the cause for it? Maybe you want a new website because you think that the website is the issue. But what if the entire branding is the issue? That could be possible too. So a proper UX agency will create some real value for you. And to create real values, every agency has to run a diagnosis. And this can also happen the other way around. So it's not always the case that you go there and you only want a website and the agency sells you an entire rebranding. But it can also happen that you go there and you say, well, we want and need an entire rebranding. And then the agency says, well, we understand where you're coming from, but we would suggest that you only need a new information architecture for your website. So I would suggest you to approach the agency that you want to work with and tell them, I need a new website, logo, or whatever you think that the problem is. And then have a look what they are doing. Do they run a diagnosis and tell you, well, we think that a new logo or website is not what you need, we would suggest you something else? Or do they simply start working for you on the logo and do whatever you asked them for? Because that is not professional. A professional UX agency will run a diagnosis and will find out what the real cause for the problems are. And one of the biggest differences between a professional or more advanced agency and a low budget agency is that a professional agency won't charge you hourly. So they won't show you the details of the calculations they did in the background. They will give you a number, what it will take you or what it will cost you to get the value that the agency can provide. And they don't want you to understand how this number was created. And that is called value-based pricing, because once an agency has established a certain level, then they have understood that they don't only provide a service, but they create real values to you as a client. And therefore, the agency will charge you value-based and not hourly-based anymore. So that means for a startup, for example, if they approach agency 1 and they want a new website, agency 1 might say, well, we will charge you 50,000 euros for the new website. But if a big enterprise, a really big company approaches the same agency with the same project size, they will get an entirely different budget. So they might get a number like 500,000 euros only because the agency has understood what value-based pricing is. So the value the agency provides to the big enterprise is way higher, and therefore they have to charge more. Not only because the value is higher, but also because the client actually wants them to charge more. Because big enterprises might feel insecure if the budget the agency asks for is too low. So therefore, I would suggest you to ask the fourth question, which is, how much do you charge an hour? If you get an answer, well, that can be an indicator that the agency is not that advanced yet. If you get the answer that they will charge you value-based and not hourly-based, then that's a pretty good sign that you're working with a really good and professional agency. There you have it. Those are the 4 key questions that I would suggest you to find out whether you are talking to a professional or low budget agency. The moment you approach an agency, ask them for an appointment to get to know them, and they will agree on that. If they are a professional agency, they will meet with you for maybe 1 hour, maybe 2 hours. I don't know how much time you need. And then you should ask them follow-up questions to the questions I gave you before. And if you follow the questions I gave you within this video and use those as a guideline, then I'm fairly sure that you will find out whether you're talking to a professional agency or a low budget agency. I've got a bit more work to do for the UX Globus podcast today, and I'll see you in the next video on Tuesday.